Critical tasks are those we undertake where, if a failure were to occur, the outcome or severity could easily result in a significant injury or loss. When carrying out these critical tasks, it's essential we identify, manage and control all hazards and risks and focus on error traps and the error prevention tools to further mitigate risks. This enables tasks to be completed in a well-planned, safe and productive manner. Your supervisor will identify the activity as a critical task during the preparation and planning phase for the work. This is part of a mandatory process which must be followed, irrespective of the critical task to be undertaken. It's important you understand the process and your role within it, and this module is part of the Doosan Babcock Critical Task Training for working in hot thermal environments. It will help reaffirm your personal awareness, accountability and ownership for these activities. Please take time to watch, listen and understand this module. It's important and it will be assessed. Working in hot thermal environments becomes a critical task activity when conditions meet the wet bulb globe temperature threshold table within the business operating procedure. Under such circumstances, specific measures to control the work environment need to be implemented. The heat exposure limits are as follows, and these apply wherever the critical task activity is taking place, not just in confined spaces. Working in established temperatures of up to 25 degrees centigrade, wet bulb globe temperature, does not present a serious risk, but the risk assessment will identify control measures relevant to the task. Working in temperatures of 25 to 30 degrees C requires health surveillance for signs of heat stress, and working in temperatures of 30 to 35 degrees C poses an increased risk, and work may only be carried out by pre-selected operatives working under strict supervision. In normal circumstances, no work may be carried out at temperatures over 35 degrees C. If there is a special requirement for work to be undertaken at temperatures above 35 degrees C, then the Critical Task Authority must be consulted. Hot thermal environments can cause harm with effects including heat stroke, heat exhaustion, heat cramps, heat rash, heat fatigue, and transient heat fatigue. So how do you recognise the potential health effects? Heat stroke can occur with little or no warning and is potentially the most serious. Skin becomes hot, dry, red or spotted as the body temperature rises to around 40 degrees C. Mental confusion, delirium, convulsions, unconsciousness, or even brain damage or death can occur if it is not treated. Prompt first aid measures are required, and anyone exhibiting the symptoms of heat stroke will require hospital treatment. Heat exhaustion may resemble the early signs of heat stroke and is caused by excessive fluid and salt loss from the body. The skin becomes clammy, moist with a flushed or pale complexion with only slight increases in body temperature. Sufferers still sweat but experience extreme weakness, fatigue, giddiness, nausea or headache. Extreme symptoms include vomiting and loss of consciousness. Sufferers will normally recover quickly, but hospital treatment may be required in extreme cases. Heat cramps are painful spasms, normally in the muscles of arms, legs or abdomen caused by profuse sweating, drinking of large quantities of water and not replacing lost salt. Symptoms can be alleviated through taking salted liquids by mouth, but anyone with heart problems or on a low-salt diet must consult a doctor. Heat rash or prickly heat occurs in hot, humid environments. If not dealt with, it can lead to infection, but can easily be avoided by resting in cool areas and through regular washing. Workers not accustomed to hot environments can suffer from transient heat fatigue, which leads to a decline in performance, loss of coordination, alertness, and vigilance. Fainting can also occur, especially when standing still. A period of gradual adjustment to working in hot thermal environments can alleviate potential issues with heat fatigue and fainting. Where critical task work in hot thermal environments is unavoidable, a risk assessment must be carried out, and persons are only allowed to work in hot thermal environments if they are competent and medically fit to do so. A safe system of work process must be followed which requires as a minimum supervision by suitably qualified and competent personnel, a permit to work, testing, monitoring and time limits, appropriate PPE or RPE, consideration of access and escape routes, fire prevention measures, rescue and emergency arrangements and health surveillance. Finally, prior to any critical task work in a hot thermal environment, a Take 5 must take place. No Take 5, no work. Those involved must sign to confirm that they have read, understood, and agreed to the method statement and risk assessment. In motor racing, some races take place in very hot climates, and drivers must be fully prepared for the extreme conditions. In the past, many teams focused purely on car preparation and engineering advances, but now an increased level of awareness has led to teams looking at ways to optimize driver performance. With core body temperatures rising to as much as 40 degrees during some races, drivers are susceptible to mental and physical tiredness, and if unmanaged, the effects of extreme temperatures can lead to heat stroke or even worse. The main problems are race suits, boots, balaclava, seat belt, and the confined space in the cockpit, meaning there's little opportunity for the driver to lose heat. This can lead to the core body temperature rising to potentially dangerous levels. Fluid loss can also lead drivers to lose as much as 4 kilograms of body weight during a race. As such, drivers prepare meticulously through diet to minimize body fat and through heat acclimatization training. This type of training also increases blood plasma volume, which helps improve hydration during the race. Drivers also take steps to acclimatize before a race and to recover after a race by immersing themselves in cooled water baths. Now let's look at an example from the workplace. Boiler and reactor component inspections were being carried out at a nuclear facility during an outage. A technician was required to enter a radioactively contaminated vessel wearing cooled protective equipment and to work in extremely restrictive confined space conditions. The temperatures within the vessel were between 56 and 59 degrees centigrade. The technician had been in the vessel for approximately 25 minutes when he attempted to maneuver through a restricted area. A hose became snagged and dislodged from his suit, and he became aware of an unusual noise and a loss of cooling air. He immediately reported the situation to the vessel entry coordinator via his telecommunications headset, and another vessel entrant was summoned to assist. The technician exited the immediate work area, removed his full-face visor, and was escorted to the exit point where he was helped to remove his suit. A medical checkup confirmed him to be fit and well. So what led to the successful outcome of this incident, which fully met with Doosan Babcock's standards and expectations for critical task work in hot thermal environments? Prior to the task, a thorough risk assessment had taken place involving everyone in the team, during which potential rescue, recovery, and exit requirements were highlighted should an emergency occur. The technician was medically fit and thoroughly trained in vessel entry, confined space working, first aid and rescue. Practical exercises had taken place in a vessel entry simulator. When the unexpected condition occurred, the technician immediately informed the vessel entry controller to question his cooling air rate. The vessel entry controller checked this, plus the vessel temperature and in-vessel cameras, before providing feedback to the technician. When faced with the emergency, the technician, other vessel entrant and vessel entry controller adhered to the emergency exit procedure in what was a very difficult and pressurized situation. And finally, before the task commenced, a Take 5 took place, This required the team to complete a pre-job checklist and have a pre-job brief. This confirmed everyone's clear understanding of the task, the risk assessment and permit. It highlighted any change and allowed concerns to be raised. It also confirmed everyone had attended the Critical Task Standards and Expectations Awareness training. Working in hot thermal environments becomes a critical task activity when conditions meet the wet bulb globe temperature threshold table within the business operating procedure. And finally, remember that a Take 5 can be called to reassess the risk at any time during the task. If other hazards are identified, stop the job and reassess. If things change, stop the job and reassess. If you're unsure, stop the job and reassess. Thanks for watching.